Hello, this is Martin Gore from Depeche Mode.
Hi, this is Dave Gahan from Depeche Mode, and you are listening to
My Nerd World.
And welcome to it. I'm your host, Jon Justice, Depeche Mode, the podcast. As always, if you want to email me, TalkShowNerd@gmail.com, or if you're enjoying the show on YouTube, leave a comment there. On this week's episode, we have a book review of Depeche Mode Live. I was just talking about that last week. And some really interesting news, especially if you have the money to spend, of Martin Gore teaming up for a brand new signature guitar. And that's where we'll start. I'm very honored to be a Gretsch signature guitarist because I've been a massive fan for so long. Gretsch has teamed up with Martin Gore of Depeche Mode to unveil a limited edition guitar that refinishes the classic center block single cut in a stunning two-tone smoke green finish with chrome hardware, giving it that vintage automobile meets guitar aesthetic. One of my favorite things about the documentary for Sounds of the Universe is Martin Gore giving a tour and talking about all of his various guitars. And if you've watched that documentary, you know that the Gretsch is one of his favorites and one of his go-tos. Now, there's several articles available detailing everything revolving this signature Martin Gore Gretsch guitar. A lot of it is wonky technical jargon of which I'm completely unfamiliar. I will say, though, if anybody's looking at getting this host a gift for Christmas, I am more than happy to learn how to play guitar, especially if I can get my hands on Martin Gore's signature Gretsch. Don't worry, it'll only cost you a few $1,000. So rather than go through the article, I want to share with you a audio of which I pulled from the announcement of this teaming up with Gretsch that Martin Gore has done. Here, check this out.
We were an all-electronic band when we started. Even though I'd been a guitar player when I was younger, we had a rule that we were synth purists. But by kind of like 1987, we recorded Behind the Wheel, and we started relaxing some of our rules.
The bit that nobody ever hears. Everybody gets that bit wrong.
This is Martin Gore from Depeche Mode, and I'm here with my new signature Gretsch guitar. I discovered my mum's record collection when I was about 10. Rock and roll, it was like 50s and 60s stuff. There was just something about it. I then found a record player and I took that into my room and just used to listen non-stop. I was hooked in music, as the saying goes. When I was about 13, I had a friend who could play guitar. He was quite good. He taught me like 2 or 3 chords, and I kind of took it from there, really. I used to go and buy a magazine at the local newsagents called Disco 45 that had all the words to all the songs in the charts. And so I used to just sit in my bedroom all the time listening to these songs and working out how to play them on the guitar. But I think that was a good practice for songwriting. And then as time goes by, I try to like mix it up a little bit as well. So sometimes I'll sit at a piano and just play some chords, or start getting a beat going with some of the modular stuff. But I do like writing songs with guitar. I think there's something unique about it, and because I'm so familiar with it, because I used to do it so much when I was a kid. Just starting off by strumming a few chords, and then I always just like sing along, and somehow words come out. Sometimes I don't know where songs come from. It's like a very mysterious process. I was quite enamoured by Gretsch guitars and the look of them in general. I really like the semi-acoustics. Over the years, just started to collect them. I probably owned like most of them. Apart from this one, I really love the red cat's eye that I have. Eventually, me and Jez, who's been my friend and guitar tech since 1993, went down to the Fender and Gretsch custom shop. We met with Stephen Stern and the team, talked us through the whole process, and was very impressed by what they were planning to do with the X-raying the guitar and getting everything right with all the little dings and the center block. Yeah, that was very impressive. So after they made a special custom shop version for me, that was where the version that's now going to be available in the shops was inspired from. One of the things that I really like about my new Gretsch signature guitar is the MG on the end here instead of the diamond. I just think it's super cool. It's just like a thing of beauty, and that's one of the things I love about Gretsch guitars, as well as sounding amazing. I think it was in 1988 we were on tour, and I went to the Guitar Row in Nashville, and I saw the double anniversary. I got it down off the shelf and started playing it, and it was just seemed a match made in heaven. The first time I really used it was when we went into the studio in 1989 for the making of Violator. It just felt so natural, and I think that there's some things, some songs just happen, like the words just flow from start to end, when you're writing them. And there was, something even like Enjoy the Silence. Originally, I'd written it on just, it was almost like an organ sound, and it was very slow. And Alan had the idea to speed it up a bit and make it into a bit more of a dance song. And I was kind of a bit wary of it at first because it was called Enjoy the Silence. And I was thinking, should it really have a dance beat? When I picked up the guitar and I started, came up with this over the top of it, it all just kind of made sense. And that was like one of those kind of like writing moments, like when the words flowed together. This thing just happened. I get asked quite a lot just about bands in general or artists in general, and I think it's just all about trying to do something that's unique, and I think that applies to your songwriting, your guitar style. Just do something that other people are not doing. I'm very honoured to be a Gretsch signature guitarist because I've been a massive fan for so long, and they're by far my favourite guitars. So it's a great honour. It's going to be an amazing feeling to walk in and see them in the shops.
I know that it's just Martin and how he speaks, but he's such a humble dude. I've never sensed in the countless interviews and documentaries that I've ever heard any level of arrogance. He just always seems appreciative and again, humble. Almost like he still is taken aback at the success that he's had with, and that the band have had all these years. I just, even in that such an enjoyable 6 minutes of hearing him talk about this signature guitar, you could tell, especially at the end, just, how happy he was and honored he was. So, again, if anybody's got $3,000 that they want to burn and would like to get this host a signature Martin Gore Gretsch guitar, go for it. Actually, I'll tell you what I'd rather have is I'd rather have more Depeche Mode music with him using his signature Gretsch guitar. I think that is a fantastic idea. Especially out on tour, which brings me to Ashley Perez Hollinsworth has written a review. I've not been able to get my hands on it yet. It's only recently become available in the States, of Depeche Mode Live, and I wanted to share it with you on this week's episode. When Depeche Mode released their debut album, Speak and Spell in 81, they were seen as another flavor of the month synth pop band that would soon be forgotten, but by the end of the decade, they were the biggest electronic act in the world. 43 years later, people are still in love with Depeche Mode. Part of their staying power is due to their spectacular live shows. And since the beginning, the band has put all their energy into their performance. With the baritone Dave Gahan at the helm, the band continues to captivate young and old fans worldwide. Dennis Burmeister, Sasha Lang examine the awesome force of Depeche Mode on stage in their new book, Depeche Mode Live. Similar to the previous book, Monument, Depeche Mode Live is a treasure trove of stunning, previously unseen photos. They range from gorgeous professional shots to grainy fan images that capture the thrill of seeing the band live to candid backstage moments fans rarely see. The authors explore the band's rise to fame through the lens of their performances, including global tours, one-off performances, and television appearances. We get brief snapshots of the band's history and album releases. But the book focuses on their live shows, how they've changed over time, the hurdles that they've conquered, and their growing audience, starting with their very first gig at a local community hall to their recent Memento Mori tour. We learn how certain tours came together, concerts that never happened, shows gone wrong, and the personal struggles the band members faced behind the scenes. While the pictures of the band's massive stadium shows are impressive, it's their photos from their early gigs that are most striking. We know Depeche Mode is a legendary band. These days, it's hard to imagine anyone questioning their talent, but that's exactly what happened in the early 80s. They were strictly an electronic band when they started, which was bizarre at the time, seeing images of them on stage with nothing but 4 synths and a tape recorder. Drive home how strange it was in an era dominated by analog. No one, not even the band, could have guessed that an electronic band would sell out stadiums only a few years later. Through the book, though the book covers the band's international fan base, special attention is given to their fan base in their dedicated fan base in East and West Germany. Since the beginning, Depeche Mode has cultivated a lasting relationship with Germany, thanks to their willingness to play shows behind the Iron Curtain. Because of their socially conscious songs, European fans have felt seen and heard by the band. They were also one of the few international acts that could get permission to play in these controlled cities. They further established their relationship with German fans by holding special meet and greets, working with regional fan clubs, setting up contests, and performing intimate shows. It's a relationship that lasts to this day, with the band making sure they play multiple shows in Germany so they don't disappoint fans. Featured throughout are interviews with various tour managers and peers the band work with throughout the years, such as Dan Silver and Nitzereb specifically. These provide great insight into what goes into putting together a tour, such as regional promo materials, selecting stadiums, and securing the proper equipment. They also discussed the intricacies of organizing a show in the UK versus West Germany versus North America. It's a fascinating peek at what goes on before the band even thinks about getting on stage. Depeche Mode Live is a beautiful book by the fans and for the fans. The rare photographs alone make the book worthwhile, but the exclusive interviews and details about the band's touring history make it an engaging read. The book was crafted with a lot of love and respect for the band. This isn't your run-of-the-mill biography with some nice pictures. Rather, it's a loving look at what makes the band special, why the fans love them, and how Depeche Mode has stood the test of time. Listen, I am personally very excited for this book, especially from the standpoint that we don't really have as much detail into what goes on as the review mentioned, the whole process of putting the show out on tour and the stories surrounding the tour. we've had little glimpses here and there. Immediately, the Blu-ray for the Live in Barcelona release for Sounds of the Universe comes to mind, and a bit of the Touring the Universe documentary that was included. But I'm really excited to go back and read in detail what comprised those various tours. I imagine that this book follows chronologically much in the same way that Monument did. And while Monument provides a treasure trove of historical background on Depeche that many of us weren't aware of because we simply weren't exposed to it, even with the abundance of documentaries provided to us fans, this book appears to really go and fill in so much of that untold history regarding Depeche Mode Live, and I, for one, am really excited to get my hands on it. So perhaps maybe if you want to buy me the book instead of the guitar, or both, for Christmas, feel free. Go right ahead. Them's just jokes. I much prefer, if you enjoy science fiction, that you go and pick up your preferred version of my science fiction series, EMBARK. See what I did there? Listen, you love Depeche Mode. If you also enjoy science fiction, treat a family member, a friend, or yourself with sci-fi. Set in the future, where air and space flight culture has replaced car culture. It, of course, was inspired in part by Depeche Mode. The world we live in and life in general, life in the so-called space age. I had Depeche Mode play a pretty large part in the underlying themes of the story, love and lust. The main character himself is a massive Depeche Mode fan at a time when the music of the 80s through the 2000s is nostalgic and popular among the characters of the story. It does feature references to Depeche, both direct and indirect, while telling an exciting, epic science fiction adventure. As Earth faces its end, you'll follow pilots Taft Catha and their ragtag crew on a journey of survival as they fight for their future among the stars and far from Earth. In Book 1, Taft has found something, and humanity won't survive without it. When ship mechanic Taft Guardia agrees to help starfighter pilot Catha Morrow investigate a cryptic message from her late aerospace engineer father, they embark on a perilous journey of discovery amid a looming planet-wide industrial catastrophe. In the middle of a global evacuation, two rival megacorporations are on the brink of interstellar war as Taft and Catha, along with their ragtag crew, discover what may be the only hope of saving Earth's evacuees from annihilation. I hope you'll go pick up this fast-paced and action-packed sci-fi adventure today. Head on over to Amazon.com and search for EMBARK and Jon, Jon Justice. Thank you so much for checking out the episode again this week. I'll be back again next week. As a bit of a preview on next week's show, the Depeche Mode song that Martin Gore said was close to R&B. If you have any guesses, drop me an email. Again, TalkShowNerd@gmail.com, or leave your guess up on YouTube. Don't go looking for it online and cheating, by the way. The Depeche Mode song that Martin Gore said was close to R&B. I'll share with you what it is on next week's episode. I hope wherever you are happy, you're healthy, and you're safe. Have yourself a fantastic week, and God bless, and I'll talk to you again next week. Bye.
Hello, this is Martin Gore from Depeche Mode.
Hi, this is Dave Gahan from Depeche Mode, and you